he slapped me. Yes, he did. And he didn't know I spotted. Like, because I had a burden already. With the stress, going to pick my son, coming back home. He said, what do I have to offer? You know? And I'm looking at someone who I gave my life for. I'm looking at someone who I left my school, my everything for. Looking into my face. The next thing, he was just transferring me huge amount of money, and then my friends were like, Hafa, japa now, see money, japa. I was like, no, I can't. It's his money.
Okay, this money he was transferring, was it after you had gotten rid of the
No,
pregnancy?
it was still when I was pregnant. He just transferred that money. He was just transferring the money. And then I opened my account as a student account, which had limit to certain amounts of money that
Okay.
was supposed to be there. So I was safeguarding the money now myself, because that kind of money, I've never seen it then. It was too big. I think it was about 2 or 3 million then. And then I wanted to transfer back to him, but it wasn't working because they said I had to go back to the branch. I opened the account for them to do the upgrade themselves. So I was still pregnant then. So fast forward, going back to Delta, and then my father seized my phone, because parents see when you are madly in love with somebody.
They wanted to breach communication.
No, nobody was beating me, but I'm crying. Nobody was actually fighting me or insulting me or telling me anything painful. I'm crying.
You're crying that you are missing the love of your life.
I was crying that I'm missing the love of my life. So my dad had to seize my phone, no means of communication. But I was this smart person. I'm always this smart person. I had to take my mom's phone and send him a text message to come to my house. Okay. So when he was
Your
coming
house in Delta.
in Delta, yes, we had a rented apartment then. So when he came, my uncle was at the gate, and then my uncle and him had sort of argument, I think sort of a fight, but not really a fight, but they were really. So my mom had already taken me out of the place, out of the house, before he came. I got rid of the pregnancy. Yes, I got rid of it, and I was depressed. Now I was going to hear cries, and then I didn't tell him. Now the revenge I had was not going to tell him that I got rid of the pregnancy. I wanted him to feel the pain of being absent in my life those couple of months.
Okay.
So I traveled back to Delta to disconnect totally with him. Now, when you love somebody, when you make a decision that I'm not going to have anything with this person, please make sure that when you see the person, you tell yourself that thing. Like when you see the person face to face, you are able to tell yourself, I don't want anything with this person. I said that in my own closet, like on my own, without nobody there. But when I went back to return the money, I was still acting all pregnant because I wanted a revenge. Like I wanted him to feel the pain of me losing that child, and then the way I was treated by him those months, those couple of months. So when I went back to send him back the money, my stomach was still sizable, like you would feel it.
Or
So
you had
yes,
gotten
I
rid of
got
the
rid of
baby.
the pregnancy.
Okay.
So I went back to give said like upgrade my account and then let him go with his money. So I went to return back his money. So when the money was transferred to his sister from my account to his sister's account, and then seeing that person you said you love, you could not resist. So but he was feeling that I was still pregnant, and then he wants to now make up for those times he was absent. Now letting me know what he was going through then. He was having case, police and all of that. He had one or two challenges in business and all of that. But it was already late. Do you understand? There's a difference between communicating to this person's family, oh, I am the one responsible for this pregnancy, but at my hand is filled up right now, my hands are filled, I can't do anything because I have what I'm facing. It's understandable. Now,
Yeah.
you didn't tell me, you didn't tell my family, you were all acting not in the picture, like, no, you don't, like you didn't want it or something. So we started reconnecting again. I saw myself fall in love with him again. So I went back to Enugu after the transfer. And then my mom, everybody was looking for me. Now,
Now, that transfer you went to go and do,
yes,
was it necessary for you to travel to Delta?
yes, because as of then, when I went to the
Or was it
branch,
that you wanted to see
no, no,
him?
no, no, I didn't want to see
Okay, the
him.
branch is in Delta.
Yes, the branch where I opened my account was in Delta. So here in Enugu, I went to Fidelity Bank, one of the branches. They said I needed to go to my own branch where I opened the account. I was like, ha, Delta. That I have to travel. I said, okay, I
And
gave
somehow in
up.
your heart, you were excited going to Delta.
Yeah, I wasn't really, but I just like, okay, let me just go. I just like, okay, let me just go. So I finished with the whole transfer and came back to Enugu. And my brother was like, where did you go to? My brother was like, where are you coming from? I could not lie because I know that people had seen me.
Mm.
I know there's always a family friend I even greeted that had put a call across and like, I've seen Oluchi, I've seen her. So when my brother gave me the beating of my life,
Mm.
then I was depressed. And that depression came with, I was feeling I was still pregnant.
Okay, even after
Yes,
getting rid of the.
yes. And then the depression came in a way that when I see pregnant women, any money in my bag, I will give it to them.
Okay.
If I see you looking unkept, I will ask you if your husband is not taking care of you. I'll pull my earrings, I
Mm.
will give them. I was even going to the chapel. I will lie down there and I will sleep, just to find that peace, just to remove that guilt that I did something wrong.
Okay.
So after that, after my brother beat me, I ran. I ran out of the house. And when I ran out of the house, I put a car across a friend and he came, he drove me to another of my friend's house. And then I got to my friend's house and she stayed at Transico then. And then she was like, Oluchi, I think you should go back to the love of your life. Because everybody was wanting to shift. All my friends like, since you want to choose him, I think you should just go,
Mm.
go that way, go that path. And then that was how.
They didn't want to get associated with
Yes,
somebody who has
yes,
done something,
yes.
bad.
Yes. So they're like, please go to him, travel back to
That's
Delta.
stigmatization.
Yes. So I actually now went back to Delta, still feeling pregnant. So as I went to Delta, I couldn't bear not telling him. Now, months had passed after the 3 months had gone. Months had passed. So everybody is expecting, his family members are expecting your pregnancy to be all, bigger and more changes in your body. But it wasn't happening. So he comforted me and then I told him the truth. But he didn't see reason to blame himself. He blamed me. He didn't see reason, oh, okay, I failed you. I failed you. But he was feeling that you are the cause, you are the one, you followed your family. It was so serious that I even had to even follow him to see a lawyer. He wanted to sue my parents to sort of a court and all of that. So it was really bad. But I tried to, make peace and all of that. So fast forward to 2017. I took him again. Then I left school, left my parents. I went to meet him because of that beating. So I went there. When I went there, he
But
broke.
but but sorry to take you back. But how were you coping in school and then always going to see him before this 2017?
Um, hmm, he was
Was your
really
was your grade reporting like
fair.
this is what I'm actually doing?
A private university is a private university, so your grade will actually tell. Down to the point that my lecturers were like, "What's going on? Like, you
They knew
changed." They
something
knew
had
something.
changed.
Like they'll say your test wasn't nice.
Mm.
It was really affecting me, but I didn't mind because I was feeling. whether I finished my school or not, I was still going to be with this person. So
Mm.
I should chase one and
Mm.
leave
You
one.
made him a priority.
Yes. So I took him again. Then with him now knowing that I got rid of that, he was actually misbehaving. Yes, he was misbehaving.
Okay, when he got to know you are pregnant again.
No, when he knew that I got rid of that other pregnancy, he was not looking at my face, though I was in the house with him. He
Okay.
was going to always travel, leave me behind.
And
But
somehow in your heart, you felt that maybe getting pregnant for him again, you'll
yes,
get that trust back and you feel
everything,
special.
yes,
You know.
So I was going to always tell his sister because we had one of his sister who was older than him in the house, and then I was going to tell her, and she was like, "Diane, it's okay, don't cry. Everything's going to be fine. Men are like that."
Mm.
So he was my first man. And then I had this mindset that the man that will define me or those kind of thing will be the one that I want to get married to, that
Okay.
kind of
Okay, so you
feeling.
held on to
I
that.
held on to that word, like I held on to it so strongly. I had
Whether the
that
person is
belief,
good,
or
bad.
bad, it's that person. So I was so determined. I was pushing it like when somebody wants to push visa. That was how I was pushing my own. Then after everything, and I finally got pregnant. When I got pregnant, he wasn't seeing it like it was really something serious. My stomach started coming out. He had a friend who wanted to get married, and then the next thing he said he wants to speak to my dad. So it was.
Okay, your guy, as he
Mhm.
went then said he wants to speak to your dad.
Yes, so he put
Okay.
a call across to my dad. He apologized, and then my dad was like, "Okay, I will be around so time. I'm going to be coming back to Nigeria." So my dad came back, and then they went for the introduction. You know how they do it here in the East. So they brought out the list. Now, the first introduction they were to call, I think we were in Onitsha when he had a call and turned back. And then it was me and the uncle, like when you are sending two people to go for introduction. So I felt really embarrassed. I felt bad because,
Okay, the introduction. Were
yes,
you going for the introduction?
I was because I was at his place. So
Okay,
I
okay,
was
okay.
going back to Enugu. So the uncle had to follow me to Enugu.
Okay.
So getting to Enugu, we were, all happy, excited. My dad welcomed us, and could you believe the shocking thing? My mom made food like, a small mini traditional marriage,
Oh.
and she was feeling as an ada the way the whole thing, maybe they will carry a bus, fill the people will come, they will do,
Ah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it was so
She was
painful.
disappointed.
I was disappointed,
Oh.
after everything you have gone through with this one person, and then you're trying to bring up peace. So when the uncle left, I called him and I said, "Come to Enugu, I'm not coming back." And I ran to one
So
completed
you people got
building.
to Onitsha all together, you,
Yes,
him, and your uncle.
I was in
Okay,
a
his
separate.
uncle, right?
Yes, me and his uncle was in a separate bus. I think he wanted to pick up few friends from Asaba. Yes, so I think almost at Onitsha, he called that he had a call and he had to go back. So that kind of
What
information,
could be the call? You don't
he
know.
had. I knew he had a court case, but it was still cancelled. You'd have probably sent an appeal or
Yeah.
something, sent your lawyer to do something, because this is somebody you want to spend your life with, right? And then there's no way you would ever replace these memories
Yeah.
again. It only comes once in a
Once in a lifetime.
lifetime.
Yeah.
So I felt bad. So when we got to Enugu, opened the freezer, I was so overwhelmed. Like my mom had to start dashing food, and I went to one completed building. I was crying. My brother
Mm.
was just looking at me. He was so, you know. My father came to where I was. I was like, "Is this what you want?"
Mm.
When your parents are intentional about their question,
Yeah.
trust me, they will actually be intentional of how they want you to be. So when he asked me, I told him yes.
Mm.
He nodded his head and said, "Fine." So when I went back home, after some days he came. When he came, I think he was almost Christmas and New Year. So my dad said I should pick which of the celebrations season I want to be with them, Christmas or New Year.
Who
I,
came? You said who came
when he came, so he later came for the intro, and
that same day?
he, after a couple of 2 days, he came. So he came with his sister, that's his uncle, because his uncle had to go back that same day. So he came back again with his uncle and his sister. So there was nothing, we just made something very sizable. So, and then when they came, we discussed, and then my dad spoke with them. So he said, my dad asked which of the celebrations I want to stay with them because they have missed me in the house. So
Okay.
I
Okay, so
picked
that 2017 you went to be with him.
mm-hmm,
How long did you stay?
216. I mean
Okay, you
216.
went to 16 to be with
Yes.
him.
Ah, I can't really recall, but it was a long time.
Mm.
Yes.
It was
I was even pregnant, and I've gone like 4 months.
so it should be more than 6 months or seven
Yes,
months.
yes. So my dad said pick when you want us to
Mm.
when you want to come and celebrate the festive season with us. And
Okay.
I think I picked Christmas or New Year. No, I picked New Year. I picked New Year.
Okay, and that year was already rounding up.
Yes, I picked New Year. So, and then I followed them back to Delta, then
Okay.
prepared to come for New Year. So I was trying to make peace between him and my dad. So sometimes I actually pick on him intentionally and see his reaction. And then he'll call my dad and tell my dad, and my dad like, those are the things with women. My dad will tell him, okay, that's how women can be. And she's pregnant. So I was trying to bring the men in my life together.
Okay.
So sometimes when you are creating certain room for peace, note that sometimes you may include hurting yourself alongside.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are bringing two heads together, you that is in the middle, you are stepping out
Okay.
so these two can come together. So I was always the topic on their lips, and then I was set aside. But I wasn't feeling bad. That was giving me joy, enough joy that I needed. So I actually went to do this festive season. And now, as the favorite person in my dad's life,
Mm.
I my dad wanted to know the sex of the baby.
Okay.
So we already knew in Delta State that it was a boy. So my dad wanted to know. So he gave me money to go for the
Scan.
scan. So when I went for the scan, I was this attached to my ex that anything that happens, I tell him. So I told him that my dad wanted to know the sex of the baby. He picked offense that why would my father want to know the sex of his baby? Do you know? I'm like, my family are harmless. Come on. There are some
Mm.
family you should be scared of, not, relating certain things to.
Yeah.
But my dad is this, come on, he based outside the country. So they are this, you know, outspoken. Their minds are open. So I don't think he has any evil intentions. Come on, this
Mm.
is his grandchild here we are talking about. But he was like, why? He was one time like, okay, let me keep this aside. I felt bad. After that, they prepared for this Ibanku, Babamuko, how do they do it?
Yeah.
And now I was pregnant. So my father really tried as of then because he wasn't really out in the picture to do all the work. My father took the burden for him. My father,
Mm.
because of the love my father had for me, he took the burden for me. And in the Igbo land, when something like this, due to maybe you're pregnant and all of that, elders will be adamant about certain responsibility that they ought to put together to make that
Yeah.
traditional wedding work. So it was so fast that we had to pay the tailor for emergency outfit that I needed to wear, emergency market. Everything was just so fast. I had to call few of my friends, makeup artists, so fast because it was under the space of, I think, 1 week or 2 weeks.
Mm.
So it was really fast. So even on the day of in traditional stuff. My dad didn't even wear any outfit because he was clearing the compound, his father's compound and everything, telling people drinks, going to this one, bringing the things requested in the list. And then while him was traveling all the way from Delta to Enugu. So most of his friends had already traveled overnight. But because him needs to direct certain people from Delta State to Enugu, he had to follow them. But they
Okay.
left early. So after that, you know, custom and tradition demands, since I was pregnant, I don't have to give him wine, my bride price won't be paid and all of that. After everything, there was a little bit of arguments,
On
little
the
bit of
day.
on that day. So ah my father's sister, who is the head of the Umada, she was like, she was telling my dad it in Kano that this is a bad omen, that it doesn't tell right, you know. Then my father was like, misunderstanding happens. So that day he was like, he's taking me back to Delta. Imagine when you are going, yes, most family cry tears of joy, but mine was, my mom was really sharing tears. My dad was sharing tears and kissed me on my forehead like, I wish you the very best. You made the choice that you ought to follow. So
Mm.
when I got there, already, I was staying there before. So when I got there, I had to continue my wifely duties.
How
So
old was this?
I think I was 20. Oh, no, I was 19.
Wow.
Yes, I was 19, entering 20.
You
So I
have been
had,
a very loyal wife.
yes, I was doing my wifely duties. So I was coping with some attitudes already because I think I was a bit patient with everything going on, and especially with I had forced labor, like my first trimester. And yes, my first trimester, even the fourth one, I was having forced labor, like, when you want to deliver, but I
Mm.
didn't know, but they said it's forced labor. So when I even went to the hospital, the doctor was like, I need to take easy, like when it comes, I shouldn't push, I shouldn't scream so much. And that if my husband is beside me, he should just, a bit of massage and all of that, it feels better. And
Mm.
then rest and enough water. So, but whenever that pain comes, and I'm somebody that don't bear pains, like I have to scream, like, I will scream. Then he will like make these utterances. Now Jesus Christ you carry, you won't bound Jesus. you know, I got used to all these hard words. See, the truth be told is, I learned a lot from that relationship. After everything, I I was overstayed, like my pregnancy overdue. I was supposed to give birth at most 9 months. Some women 8 weeks and 8 months and some weeks, but my past 10 weeks,
Mm.
10 months and 2 weeks.
Okay.
10 months and 2 weeks. So the 2 weeks was really 2 weeks and entering three,
Mm.
So we went to the hospital and there was no sign of labor. The doctor said it's a 50-50 chance. They are going to induce me to labor. And if I can't give birth successfully, that means I'm going to go for a cesarean section. One day after cooking beans, because it got to a point, I built my relationship with him that we were communicating well. And then I won't come and paint it all bad. We were communicating well, to a point I'll say, okay, I want us to read the newspaper. He was very good in reading more than writing. He was very good in reading. I think it's because he's a bit stubborn. That's why he couldn't really actually, fix his head down to education. But he was really good. I figure it out myself. So I was reading books, Power of Being a Woman, Joyce Meyer, Never Giving Up. I had books I used to read. I love reading. So I was working on most of those words I grab in quotes that they quote in the books about working things out as a woman, pushing things, getting things right, getting things done just the way you want it to be. So it was really working like a magic. But there are some things that don't work on people. So
Mm.
after everything, we passed that phase. I i fell into labor one night, and then the it was successful. Like, before the doctor arrived, I put to bed to my son. Immediately I put to bed, I didn't know that was when I would start facing the real life, or the real game called marriage.
Mm.
So when I gave birth, it was so beautiful. Like, I was feeling like a baby. I was feeling like a baby because while I was in the hospital, he'll call me on the phone and like, I love you. I love you
Uh,
and my son. I was like, oh, I was loving that much. But never did I know that this love was going to fade someday. So my brother was calling. Everybody was
you
all
felt
around.
special.
I felt special. Like, what do you want to eat? What do you want? Everybody, mugwo, yeah, everywhere was sweet. So I enjoyed. So he got me a necklace, like a gold, as a gift, like my a push gift. So I was happy. My mom was like, we're all happy. Now, he's insecure.
Okay.
He's insecure, yes. As of then, I think the problem I had was he was feeling my mom coming around me was going to bring a very big shift
Okay.
between the both of us. Now, forgetting that I have my things in control. And
Mm.
then you remember the Igbo culture says that Omugwo is just not Omugwo to come and take care of only baby. It's to spy on both husband and wife
Mm.
during the childbirth. That's the opportunity the mother has more to come into the home, to come and
Mm.
see how they are living, caution the things that were not right, and put it in order. So when my mom came, first child, I didn't know anything. My only sleep, breastfeed baby, mommy was going to do the washing, everything. So I was feeling open-minded. My mom was cooking, my mom was doing everything. So he was excited too.
Mm.
Then he was going to come and, hey, I want you to help me with this. And then we were all fine. All I can't really picture where the problem came from. But all I knew was one time my mom was like, very soon I will go, how will you cope with baby? And that was my fear because you first baby, you don't want at your butter way you want to waste your child.
Mm.
I didn't want him to inhale pepper or go to market and everybody is touching baby. That kind
Mm.
of I didn't want that life. So I was scared. I was looking at my mom. So just I had to tell him, how am I going to be cooking? How am I going to do this? He didn't say anything. He was like, we will cope. So when one day and then my mom went to the market, I was so hungry and baby was crying. And you have to eat well to breastfeed. So I had to go and make noodles in the kitchen. I didn't like the atmosphere, the way my baby was, feeling not okay about the whole cooking. I had to put him in a stroller and then keep him inside. So when he came back, I was like, see how I went with the cooking thing. And then I tried it, but it didn't go well. So he was like, he made a statement. I don't want to really say that statement, but he made a statement that hurt me badly. And it really brought up issue. Really brought up issue. So
Statement, is it not something we can learn from?
yes, he said a statement about him mama and him papa, trying to compel me and I think the mother and the father's lifestyle, which
Okay.
really didn't suit the way I felt.
Yeah.
There's a way you would have just told me, oh, I'm sorry, dear. As a young girl that I am, having a child, coping with marriage and everything, you would have just been soft enough to apologize, which I told you earlier that apologizing wasn't his thing.
Mm.
So after a long time discussion, I left angrily out of the bedroom and then I went to meet my mom and I was crying. My mom was like, oh, it's your choice. You'll be here. Marry your marry. So 3 weeks we had an argument. Before then, something transpired. Like, I saw a text message on his phone, and then again making a threat. He's urging me, your wife will not know peace. Haba, what
Okay,
happened?
girl was.
Messaged him, like sent
Oh,
him a text
wow.
message, and I was like, wetin concern me concern, because I grew up to know that you in the house is the main woman. If he likes, if a man likes, let him go round the world, he will still come back to the house, to his house, and meet you. So you are the main person in this, in the picture.
Okay,
So
that was how you
yeah,
grew up,
so I
right?
had that thick skin. Cheating wasn't my problem. I don't see
Mm.
it as a big deal. You cheat, oh, it wasn't my problem. I didn't have time to come and fight with my fellow woman for a man. After all, the man is still going to choose who he wants to be with. So I didn't have that as a problem. But when I saw that text message, I was really not happy. I was like, "Ooh,"
After all you did.
after everything. So I think my attitude changed. Yes, my
Mm.
attitude changed towards it. And then we had the
And he
argument.
didn't know that you had seen the text.
No, I didn't tell
I
him.
know that one. It happens naturally.
Yes,
You just change.
yes. So I didn't tell him. So, and one day we had a slight argument, and then he slapped me.
Wow.
Barely 3 weeks, I gave birth, and then my mom's presence. I didn't expect him
Your
to.
mom was there and he slapped you.
Yes, my mom really was not happy with it. And you know, Omugwo now, as I told you, they came to spy. So
Mm.
my dad called, and I was crying because I used to be daddy's girl now,
Okay.
My mom told him, and then, now light skin, some just a little bit of the hand on the face,
Redness.
and then so my mom was like, look at what he did to her. My mom wasn't saying it because my mom wanted to paint him a bad person, but
Okay, and he was inside hearing.
no, I don't think he was around, but my mom just told my dad, and my dad called him. I think he didn't pick up my dad's call. So what my dad said, and then he said my dad later called again, said he's busy, and I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, so I couldn't lay my hands with what got him. So my mom packed and was like, she can't be here and be happy again that all this is happening. So she
Mm.
packed and left, and my mom was leaving. He said, go and give your mom ihe ọmụgwọ, what we both didn't plan for. And then my mom left angry, like, Oluchi, keep those things. You need it better than I do. I'm going back. Take care of yourself. So my mom left. Nobody was going to bat me. I was having pains in my side, you know. But he never knew that I wasn't happy. You know, I wasn't happy with the way I was treated.
You
So
were cheated.
yes. So
Did he apologize after the slap?
no, I don't. I can't remember. No, no, not at all. No, 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 not at all. So then the next thing, I started hearing his friends saying, my mom saying, let me not breastfeed baby so that my breast will not fall, those kind of things. But my mom can't say that. And
Okay, okay. He said these were
yes,
okay. He was making like a reported that these were the things your
yes,
mom told you.
yeah, yes, that he was telling it. But my mom didn't say that. Many other allegations they put up, but I know it wasn't true because I'm a very straightforward person. Even in my family, they know if you do something wrong and I want to tell you, I will tell you to your face. I will not come and bend sides. But he was feeling maybe I'm not bold enough to tell my mom or something, or. Then after that, I wasn't happy. Yeah, I wasn't really happy. Nobody was baiting me, you know, before they would cook in the house because his sister came. And then I was not feeling happy. So he wake up in the morning. How are you? Sometimes he won't talk. And then he'll go to work. So I got tired. And then I was like, I remembered what one of the aunties said, that my mom she because when the auntie came, she was like, my mom would have not come. I would have come so that she takes care of baby. That it's stressful for mom to come to the house. So I was like, if I tell him now, because by that time I already know what he can do and what he cannot do. So I was like, if I tell him now that I want to go home, he won't agree. So I had to make arrangements to leave the house. So one morning he left for work. I called one of my cousins who used to come and help me when I was pregnant. And then she came, and the sister was in the kitchen. I just took, baby things, just few in my handbag, and took my son. And the vehicle was waiting just side of the house. and then I moved. And that was how I went straight to Enugu with my baby. So getting to Enugu, not up to 2 days, we got a report that that's my relation, that my cousin, he beat her and got her arrested.
The
And
one
then
who was in the house with you people.
yes, who no, she wasn't in the house with us. She was always going to come and go, come and go, So he said she was the accomplice I had that helped me leave the house with the baby. So um my dad, everybody were all waiting for him. So when his friends came at first to see me and the baby. And
In
then
Enugu.
yes, they were so impressed because the baby and I was being taken good care of.
Okay.
So when somebody did something bad to you and then you want to revenge. So my dad was angry that you arrested an innocent girl, you beat her up, you didn't even, after beating her, you demanded that she will stay in the police custody till when you say she should be free. So my dad wanted to do the revenge too, and then got him arrested too.
Okay, your dad got him
Yes,
arrested.
yes, here in Enugu. And when they got him
Okay, he came
arrested,
to Enugu
yes, he later came to Enugu. So when they
to
got
see
him
you.
to see me and the baby. So when they got him arrested, hmm, hmm, I don't know. They settled it in the station and then he went back to Delta. So he came again. When he came, I knelt down in front of my mom and him too knelt down and we begged my mom. But I think my dad was trying to you know, make him realize something. So,
Hmm.
but I was impatient enough. So one day, the love went to my head. I told my mom, "Are you not in your husband's house?
Now you want to go to your
Me,
own
I want
husband's
to go to
house.
my own husband's house." I made a scene, like a war. My mom said, "Is it because of a man you're insulting me?"
Child.
I told my mom, "You better open your husband's gate. Let me go." So one day I tricked her. Told her, "Let's go and buy baby clothes." So we went to pick. My mom was picking. I told my mom, "My tummy is turning me. I want to go home." She said, "Give me baby." I said, "No, now you will cry. Now I will breastfeed him." I took my baby home. I went home. I took my baby. My brother was watching me. But because I was my baby, my brother was like, "This man said she no go fit run. She carry pikin now."
Hmm.
I just went to one hotel.